assessment today of the game?
There's some guys that made some plays. It's the same deal. We put some guys in position to do some things, to make some plays and keep some pressure on them, and some guys performed and some guys didn't. And that's what practice is all about, particularly with the pace that we went. We had 106 plays in the first half, which was about what we wanted to get done in a game-type situation. Ran the clock in the second half. We got plenty of snaps, got plenty of runs, throws, defenses, situations, and put some guys in some positions to make plays, and some guys just couldn't get it done. So, that we'll move on through that, and that's a learning experience. What we talked about after in the locker room, penalties still continue to be an issue. We'll get that fixed, though. And some of those guys that have multiple penalties, they won't play. So that's where it is, and I don't think they believe that yet, but they will.
So that kind of pace, 106 plays in the first half, is that the kind of pace you want to play this fall, or is that something special for this spring?
You haven't seen us scrimmage yet? Never seen us play? That's the way we do
I've
things.
seen you play.
That's how we do things.
But is that realistic, 106 plays in 2
You're talking about both first ones and twos. That would be the combination of both teams being on the field.
Okay.
So that was about 50 plays or 45 plays in the first half. So, that's it's easier to slow down than it is to speed up in a game. So as we get towards the season, we'll be able to adjust accordingly. But it's been my experience. It's hard to speed things up in a game situation if you haven't practiced at that pace, offensively or defensively.
It was a quick pace.
How do you think your quarterbacks did in front of the crowd today?
I don't know. We did some good things. Like I said, I usually have to watch a video unless there's some glaring things, and some things we've been working on. I think they've improved. We were still a little careless with the football, but we weren't nearly as careless as we were the first week out. And so we're making steps. I think Coach Kingsbury has stressed that. Even when we move around and get outside the pocket, we threw the football away today. We scrambled in the middle of the field instead of just throwing it up for grabs a bunch. So we made some progress there, and we made some accurate throws, made some big plays off the blitz. And we probably should have been better percentage-wise, but we had some drops, and unfortunately, a lot of the drops are by the same couple people, and we got to put an end to that.
How'd you think DeShazer ever looked, coach, at safety? You got a chance to look at him?
I've been looking at him for a week back there. So we moved him. DeShazer has had a fabulous spring at corner. We took him the last week because of what we felt like the depth with Floyd Raven, with Jacobs coming in as a junior college player, and then with Dustin coming back off of IR, or whatever you want to call it, practicing the last week. It gave us a chance to speed up Jacobs' mental process, and felt good about where DeShazer was and moving back, because we need some help at safety, and I think he is, for just playing the position for the last 3 or 4 practices, he's extremely athletic, he's physical, and has a good feel for it, and that'll give us some flexibility in the fall.
How good was it to see the former players and a couple of great former coaches come out here and support? And what's the response been?
No, it was great. We had a golf tournament yesterday, and I think it was 300 guys back. We wanted to change it up a little bit and introduce them at halftime, bring them out, and it's kind of interesting when you hear their accomplishments. I think people kind of take that for granted, and unfortunately, the older the team was, the more they accomplished. And we've got to get back to that. We appreciate those guys being back here. And I think, they, like I told them yesterday, people, former students really care, and they care deeply. Former players care at a whole nother level, because a lot of them are limping around out here, limping out on the field today because of the things that they've done and they've given to Texas A&M, and I'm just happy that they're back, and they can have a huge impact on our young guys right now. Is being able to see them and what they've accomplished, and what what has taken place in the past, and what the tradition really is here at Texas A&M.
When this all began in the spring, you talked about the importance of this time, and the guys, do you think they've learned enough so that when you guys come back in the fall, there's a good understanding there of what they need to do to kind of keep this thing rolling?
I think they've learned enough to understand what they need to do throughout the summer. And we voted on our leadership council today, and we named those guys in the locker room right after that. I'll probably give those AC after that, and then basically we've given them the basic groundwork of the tempo that we do things, what's expected, how we want to get things done, and then through the summer with Coach Jackson and through their work away from the coaches, because we can't be with them. Now they know what's expected of them, and it's going to take some leadership from within to really get a certain mindset going before two-a-days. We can't wait for two-a-days. So I think, as I told them, we've got enough in right now to play a football game, offensively, defensively, and special teams-wise, and it's their job to take that on their own and work through that with the expectations that they've learned this spring, and then when we get back in two-a-days, be ready to go again.
Were you able to keep things kind of vanilla today, or did you have, because it's a new system, have to test some things out, like offensively?
I think we ran some different plays today, so I don't think we haven't put everything in, if that's what you're asking.
Well, or how much do you show off in the spring game?
I don't think anybody shows up half of what they do in the spring game.
Well, I didn't know, like, with you being a new coach, new system, new coach down there, new system, how much do you put out there?
No, I mean, we give them enough offense to try to be successful and give our defense. I think the question is not about offensively what we're doing. I think it's more or less. I'm surprised you didn't ask about all the three-man front and exotic blitzes that you saw.
I did notice that.
It's not the offense. So that's what I saw.
Can you talk about the running back position, how they've progressed throughout the spring, especially with Chris and Michael still recovering?
I think that Ben, as I said a week ago, you could see him start to come on. He's a really solid running back in protection. Catches the ball well out of the backfield. Will Randolph, although he was pretty good today, has been hit and miss. He's missed a week or so with that knee from the 2 weeks, really from the first scrimmage. He's a talented guy that just has to do it all the time and has been inconsistent, but he's young. So, we've got to speed his learning curve up. I think his lack of practice over the spring is hurt him because he needed it. You can tell Ben's a veteran guy, and Brandon is a want-to guy. Whatever you need him to do, he can do it. He's a gifted young man. So, I think we've gotten some depth there. I can't count on Brandon depending on what the NCAA comes up with, but certainly with Christian coming back and Ben, we've got to get Will going. Trey was here today in the locker room looking around, so we're going to have some running backs that we can do some things with next year, and I think as they continue to learn our system and really get a feel for how we do things, I think they'll get better.
Anything else?